Seahawks held their Super Bowl parade Wednesday. Fans packed the streets to celebrate the second Super Bowl victory in franchise history. The team let loose. They addressed the fans inside Lumen Field.
Yeah, I just want to say I've talked a lot this last week about belief. A lot of people, didn't believe in me, but it didn't matter because the ones that are close believed in me, including y'all. I appreciate y'all so much.
If you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense, you got anything to say about my O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got two words for you.
Now, it's time for Todd's Odds, brought to you by FanDuel. We should explain why all the pixelation there, Todd, in that last clip. The reason is that all the players and a lot of the coaching staff were wearing T-shirts with Sam Darnold giving the finger on it. So we had to pixelate it because we want to, this is a family show, Todd. You understand, right?
I get it, Jay. The one thing that always concerns me, though, every time we mention where the Seattle Seahawks play their home games, I can't but help make the connection to the show Severance on Apple TV and think of Lumen Field and the cult-like atmosphere created at Lumen and wonder if there's any synergy or overlap between the two.
Only you would think that, Todd. Last week you picked the Patriots to cover against the Seahawks. They did not. Todd, how are we feeling about what we saw on Sunday at Super Bowl 60?
I mean, there are a lot of emotions. I'm just thankful that Kenneth Walker's 61-yard touchdown was called back for holding. Having a little bit of underexposure in my portfolio may or may not have been the only thing that bailed me out. After picking against the Seahawks with the Rams the week before and thinking the Patriots defense could do enough to slow them down, what I failed to realize, Jay, is that Drake May did not have a shoulder that was anywhere close to 100%, and that offense might have problems moving the football on you and me if we were lined up opposite Will Campbell along that offensive line.
That's fair, Todd. We're heading toward the NBA All-Star break. The Raptors looking terrific. They are 9 games above 500. FanDuel has them a virtual lock to make the postseason. But my question for you is, would you bet on this Raptors team to win a playoff round at plus 270?
Kudos to the Raps, Jay. This was a team whose win total coming into the year was in the low 30s. So they've already exceeded odds makers' expectations and have a lot of runway in front of them. But I have to pump the brakes on their ability to win a playoff series. Not because I don't think they can do it if they draw the right matchup, but there's a very real chance that when you look at the Raptors' schedule after the All-Star break, that this team could fall into that 7 spot, be forced to win a play-in game, and then have to roll it over before they went on the road against 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that I think are clearly better in the form of the Detroit Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, who could get Jason Tatum back, and the New York Knicks. So that's not a number that I think is worth tying up money in your FanDuel account now. You'll probably get a better price on the Raps when we get to the postseason in April.
Scotty Barnes is having a great season, Todd, as you know, on both ends of the court. In fact, he has the 4th best odds to win Defensive Player of the Year on FanDuel. The guy who has the best odds to win it is Victor Wembanyama. Do you believe that anybody else other than those 2 guys even has a shot at this, Todd?
In my opinion, the only threat to Victor Wembanyama winning Defensive Player of the Year is Victor Wembanyama. And the reason I say that, for those folks who don't pay attention to the NBA awards and how they've changed some of the blueprint and some of the milestones you have to meet, if Wembanyama doesn't play 65 games, suddenly that's a value proposition on Scotty Barnes and some of the other players with the long shot odds. But I think San Antonio really wants him to be able to earn some of these individual accolades, and this is a team trending in the right direction. So I'm going to err on the side of optimism, which, as you know, Jay, is extremely rare for me, that Wembanyama will meet that 65-game threshold and have an opportunity to take home that Defensive Player of the Year award.
What about NBA MVP? It looks like it's coming down once again to Nikola Jokic against Canada's own Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Do you think Shai goes back-to-back just as fellow Canadian Steve Nash did 20 years ago?
I mean, what we're seeing, Jay, so far is that Canada is truly a basketball country. We know the American women have stepped in front of Team Canada for that gold standard, at least on the female side of the draw. And Shai has an inside track for this award because not only has the production been there, but he will, in my opinion, meet that 65-game threshold. Whereas you look at Nikola Jokic, and while the numbers are there, and I think he's putting together a better season statistically and from an underlying metric standpoint than what we've seen in the past, The reality of it is you have very little wiggle room for him to miss any more time. And if Jokic misses a game or two, I think it's SGA's to wrap up for the second straight season. I give the Thunder credit. SGA has played a ton of basketball, both in the association and on the international stage of late. So they're going to allow him to come back at his own pace. The Thunder aren't going to judge the merits of this season by what they accomplish in the regular season. It's all about defending that NBA title and bringing another Larry O'Brien trophy back to OKC.
Speaking of that, Todd, the Thunder are indeed favored to repeat as NBA champions, followed by the Nuggets, the Knicks, and the Pistons. Who are you betting?
I think OKC offers a little bit of upside at a price tag better than even money right now on FanDuel. But, Jay, where's the fun in that? Tying up our money in the favorite and what appears to be a crash collision course between the Denver Nuggets and OKC. And that series was an instant classic, going 7 games last year when we got to see those two teams. The East, in my opinion, is where you're going to try and find a little bit more upside. And I'm not going to buy into the Celtics the way they're currently priced, despite the optimism that Jason Tatum won't have missed a beat when he returns from that Achilles injury. We've all learned our lessons in the past as it pertains to James Harden and what he doesn't do when the games start to mean more in April and in through May. The Detroit Pistons, they've been a phenomenal story, and they do have a little bit of that Pacers DNA with the inside track to the 1 seed. But the New York Knicks are the team that really fascinates me. I think this is a group that's gone through the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations. They got close a season ago. And if I was looking to make a case for somebody further down the odds board, the Knicks are the team that I would look to lean into. I think they're going to have a lot to say about the Eastern Conference playoff picture and how it unfolds.
Well, looking over your shoulder and seeing that Knicks logo, Todd, I can see why you would be very embedded in New York Knicks basketball, which I'm totally fine with. I'm a big Tracy Morgan fan, too.
Hey, I mean, look, Jay, I'm a Chicago guy at heart, grew up in Chicago my entire life. I can't explain to you how difficult it was to be a New York Knicks fan and watch Michael Jordan win championship after championship after championship after championship. I'm running out of fingers now, and I don't want to count that high, but you get the gist. And you finally break through, and John Starks goes about 2 for 50 from deep in Game 7 against the Houston Rockets. And alas, the Knicks still haven't won an NBA championship in my lifetime.
All this from the John Starks of television sports betting analysts, Todd Fuhrman.